That's a great way to start off this take. Take 6, video for Cameron. I've done this 5 times already because I just was like, dang, John, you just sound like a crazy guy. Who's gonna ever listen to you? So I'm gonna do this very quickly. This is about Bach 1001. Presto. If you want to just stop watching in the next 20 seconds, you just have to remember that I don't count this in 4. I count this in 2 or 1 or 3 or never 4. What do I mean? 1, 2, 3, 4, triplet, 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 triplet. I don't think that anything in the score says that you should ever play or make it sound like that. And whenever that comes out, I just think like it should be more edgy. The edginess of the counting, making it, even practicing it as in 6, making it choppy rhythmically. I say choppy rhythmically. What does that even mean? Everything is in 16ths, right? The choppy rhythm stuff is based on really the string crossings on the violin. And so obviously when you're playing it on the guitar, it's not going to naturally just pop out like this. So I just want to point out some things that, I don't know, I see from a violin perspective, but also, I don't know, as a person that's not super mainstream with some of the professionals that also do the right? I like to play it and practice it more like this. And why that choppy way? It sounds like a caveman, right? Not smooth at all. And the reason why it's not smooth and more caveman-like and pointy is that there are so many measures in this piece that are pointy. So here's an example. So many ways to break that apart, you know? So that was measure 95. There are so many different lines. That's like a lot of pointiness based on the top line of that descension, right? Richness. I should play less so that I don't embarrass myself. That same pattern comes up in 42. Maybe I should have started with 42, huh? But there, you have to follow the bass notes. Yes. You see how this is so edgy that when you're going the momentum and the idea of the triplets in 4, when you hit those really edgy measures, there's so much disconnect. As a listener, I'm just like, all right, I'm on this nice triplet highway. Suddenly there's like traffic across me that is not in triplet, totally out of harmony, gets me out of the way of listening, right? Those are like really extreme examples just to show this idea that the contour of the measure is very important in how we ultimately count for this piece, right? So what do I mean by this incompatibility? So here's an example. So measure 17 through 24 kind of sounds like this. Yeah. So that one's great to play in triplets, great to play in 3 and 1. But when you arrive at measure 24, whether you count in triplets or in 3, that measure 24 is going to have a big influence on how that highway drive is going. Are you going to have to slow down to get a new idea of the rhythm and get rid of that momentum? If you start counting in 3 and then 1, there is no existent momentum really ever. And so every measure has its own liberty to do whatever it wants, right? So let's say I'm at 23. I'm exaggerating. Obviously not going to play like that if you're obviously not playing like that either. But that's just to show what could someone possibly hearing when you're constantly going triplet, 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 right? Right? Try hearing this one. It's in 3 now. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right? It's a different contour. And if you're in triplet, 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 you're never gonna be able to do that, right? Even if you do it, it's going to confuse the audience. What do I want to say else? I feel like I don't want to repeat myself too much so that I don't confuse you. But I think I've already got most of the main points. I think there are some good passages to kind of talk about too, over some really basic Bach stuff. Namely, what is the line that you're following in every descension? In every ascension, what is the voice that you're going to focus on the most? In the very obvious ways, it's just following the bass note. But a lot of the times, the bass note is not always in 1. It's in weird places. So let me just give you some examples from the second half to just think about. So this is measure 106. Very naturally already a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I never want to leave that world. I like that world. You might think differently. Really pay attention to that bass line. So let's talk again some more about contours. I just gave you earlier some of the really extreme examples. that one extreme example, but here's like a example of me trying to show you it's everywhere, and it's big, huge ideas that cannot be locked down through one mentality throughout the whole piece. It needs to stay open. Think ones, eventually ones, and not broken down in twos, but 3 and 1, right? Not 2 and 1. So let me give you an example of more contours in measure 120. In that passage, in the beginning, it was a very particular 1, 2, 3 idea. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? But then once that returns back to normal, it's really bring out those bass notes a lot. It'll give you an idea of where the contours are. But it's not always the bass note. Sometimes it can be the ascending notes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to speak more. There are plenty of ideas that I've talked about, and I don't want to do another take. Yeah, I'm just gonna stop here. Peace, let me know what you think.